Hello and welcome to my channel. I talk about King of Pentacles today. I've got a particularly personal take on this card. So I feel like the song that I've chosen, the Kate Bush song I've chosen, is a great fit for my view of this card. So I think I've noticed making these sort of court cards for my deck that I do have it's I suppose they remind me of people in my life often when I'm making them. And with the King of Pentacles, it particularly reminds me of my grandpa, who, he was the boss of a hat business in Luton, always immaculately dressed, and the only one of my family who ever had any money. Had his routines, kind of a very dependable, sort of reserved personality. But also, he was very musical, came from a musical family, and he was the one that encouraged me with my music. And I think that's an important aspect of a King of Pentacles as well, is that idea of passing on knowledge or support or, giving financial help or whatever. But I feel like with the King of Pentacles, there is a Page of Pentacles in the background, someone who feels inspired and is looking up to this figure. And I like with the Rider-Waite the fact that we've got the ivy around him, which suggests this connection to nature too. What I don't like about this is I feel he looks too young. I feel that King of Pentacles, the Pentacle suits in general are seen as, they're patient, they take their time, not someone that gets rich quite early on. They've taken years to build their business or, their creative life or whatever. So I feel that he should be a lot older, perhaps more of the age of the Emperor, in fact. So physically, doesn't seem quite right. And also, I think of the Pentacles as the end of the tarot deck. I know not everyone thinks of it that way, but I see it as a progression. And when we get to the Pentacles, we're kind of, we are getting to the end, the completion, or maybe someone who's in old age and towards the end of their life, looking back. So that is the energy that I think of with King of Pentacles. So two other, and I haven't got a huge amount of tarot decks, but I kept looking through my tarot decks to find a King of Pentacles, and I couldn't quite find one that was just exactly how I pictured them. But I've got two representations which I do quite like. Let's do this one first. This is from Next World Tarot, and I do like this deck because it challenges a lot of stereotypes and has a fresh way of looking at the court cards in particular. And I really like her. I like the way she's looking directly at her. She looks really confident and almost like she's bending down and saying, come on, come with me. The guidebook says something interesting too. It says that when we haven't got much power or money, when we're in a difficult situation, we often do have to make compromises, and to be kind to ourselves in that situation. But also equally, when we do get the power, that comes with a responsibility. Then we start helping other people and think of, then we start thinking of the pages who we can help along the way. The Osho card, I quite like the fact that he looks a little bit older, but there could be a bit more grey in his beard, I feel. Osho calls him Zorba. He talks a lot about this Zorba the Buddha. So someone that's hedonistic, but also spiritual. And I like this, the fact that it's a reminder that, you know, wealth isn't just financial, it isn't just jewels or coins or whatever, that it's an attitude. Wealth is an attitude to life, an attitude of abundance. So the song I've chosen, which I feel like it represents all that, what I've just talked about, is Dahlias from Never Forever. And the lyric is, "Oh, he's a moody old man, song of summer in his hand." And I will try and find the link. It is based on the Ken Russell film, Song of Summer, and which is from the 1960s. It's a great film, and it's based on a particular hilarious part of that film. And I'll try and find a link which maybe just shows that part, so you don't have to watch the whole film if you haven't seen it. But yeah, it's great. And it was interesting watching the film again. So I watched it again recently. The first time I watched the film was about 15 years ago. And when I watched the film 15 years ago, I was studying music and at a local college. And I felt very much in the position of Eric Fenby. So sorry, I should just explain briefly what the film's about. So there is this composer, an English composer himself, but he's very much at the start of his career, called Eric Fenby. And he hears about Dahlias, and Dahlias by this time, he is very sick with syphilis, and he is paralysed, and he's lost his sight too, and he's completely dependent on his wife and the nurses, to do anything. But despite this, he rules the house through the force of his personality. And Eric Fenby comes to... Dahlias still has this music that he wants written down and is unable to do so. And Eric Fenby comes as this young composer who seems in awe, I think, of Dahlias and his music, comes to help him, comes to write down the music for him. But Dahlias gets very impatient and feels that, he wants to dictate this music to Eric Fenby, and Eric Fenby can't get the hang of what he's trying to say. But what makes it funny is the music that Dahlias is particularly trying to communicate at this point. It is terrible. So there's that frustration as well, that perhaps Dahlias he's finally can create. What he's creating isn't as beautiful as the music he's created before. But anyway, I think they get over that hurdle, and then he does, Eric Fenby does write down some beautiful music for him. And what I was going to say was that when I first watched the film, I very much identified, because I was in that position myself of having to deal with impatient music teachers who understood things and had a lot better ear than me. I felt I could really identify with Eric Fenby feeling so diminished and put down by this other person. But now being 50 and watching it, I started to really admire Dahlias. So I saw beyond just that moody old man, and I thought, wow, to be in that situation he's in, all that challenge, he's, in pain a lot, to still so determined to enjoy his last few years of his life, to create. There's a moment in the film as well, which is great, where they take him out. I think it's in a snowstorm. They take him out to the mountainside to see the last of the sunset. This is just before he loses his sight fully. And that determination, yes, and that connection with nature as well that we associate with the King of Pentacles. So I felt it was a really good fit for this card. Now, just to the card, because it doesn't feature anyone from the film, I notice, and it's quite a self-indulgent card, which you'll see why in a minute. But I was thinking about Never Forever, and when I first listened to it. And when I first heard the Dahlia song, and I, had no idea who Dahlias was. I was probably 8 and no idea what it was about, or the film. And I imagined the song, the voice of Dahlias in my head was very creepy. And sorry, I probably won't be able to see all this, but I imagined it as one of these kind of bog-like creatures from the Never Forever. Well, I don't know why I thought they were in a bog, but that's what I imagined, sort of bog-like, kind of dark, somewhere dark and damp, and I don't know, like in a wood or something. And that's what I imagined. So I included here, there's pictures of me at that age when I first heard this music. And it was also the time when I first started playing the piano. And this here isn't from Never Forever. It is from one of the very first pieces of music I played on the piano. And it was like, it's Water Carol, River and Rainbow. And it was this song. So sorry, that's where the artwork comes from, you can see. And there's this song, it was Tiger Moth. And it was the first time that I had an idea of the dynamics on the piano using the pedal, and the idea that you could use music to, paint a picture of something else like a moth and as something expressive. So it felt very much like this was the time when I started to be more aware of my creativity. And yeah, Kate Bush was part of that. You could say that in a way in this card, I'm still representing the Page and the King of Pentacles relationship but I'm the Page here. And Kate Bush is the King, the one that's inspiring me. So that is my take on the King of Pentacles. I think there are quite a few other candidates. And I will be interested to hear what you say. The only thing I lastly wanted to say was, I did initially think of using Dahlias for the Emperor instead. But I feel at the moment in the world there is so much toxic, the toxic side of this Emperor energy. And I want to go somewhere quite different, in a different direction with this card. So I've been thinking about a song, and I think I've found a good song that presents the positive of the Emperor, because I think we're all sick of the violence and the aggression and stuff. Right, so that's my take. As always, look forward to any comments you have, and thanks so much for watching. Bye bye.